Hi, I'm Anthony Dillon and I identify as part Aboriginal Australian. I've been commentating on Aboriginal affairs for over 20 years now. And over that time, I've seen different themes come and go. And this latest theme, this latest news about the voice it's really it's a repackaging of old ideas. And that is that Aboriginal people are vastly different to non-Aboriginal people. Therefore, they need all this special attention and extra help and all that sort of thing. And certainly, given that we've got the gap, yes, some special attention is needed. And we already have that. So I do question, what is the voice going to do above and beyond what there already is? And I'm the first to admit too that what's been happening hasn't been great because we still have the gap. But I don't think this new bureaucracy of the voice is going to fix anything because one, we don't know the plan for it. It does seem to be just a lot of hot air and waffle. So my advice for the yes people, if you wanted to get my vote, you would have to map out a plan. How will the voice achieve the outcomes you say it will achieve, closing the gap, that sort of thing. I have not seen a plan like that. And we know that when the leaders such as PM or the Minister for Indigenous Affairs, when they're asked about these matters, they do not give very clear answers. I'm of the opinion that what we need to close, in order to close the gap, we've already got that now. We can do it now. What is holding us back is political correctness and a focus on trivialities, changing street names and claiming racism is everywhere and that sort of thing. A lot of energy gets chewed up with that sort of thing. But we know that we can replicate the success that's already there. And there is a lot of success amongst Aboriginal Australians. Look at the architects of the voice, for starters. They've all done very, very well. I respect each one of them. I don't agree with them on most things, but I do respect them. They have done a lot of good in their life. And they got to where they are without this thing called the voice. We know how they got there. They got there through hard work, education, employment opportunities, that sort of thing. So rather than having this new thing called the voice, we should use the existing advisory bodies, not create a new advisory body, but use the existing advisory bodies to focus on employment, education, access to modern services, clean and safe environments, and that sort of thing. If we do that, we will close the gap. I'm concerned that if we introduce this new idea, if it gets up, this new thing, this new beast, this unknown thing called the voice, which has been promised to Aboriginal Australians as this is what we need. This is why we haven't closed the gap, because Aboriginal people have been without a voice. Well, they've had their voice like you and I, in addition to having the advisory bodies, the current advisory bodies, the Council of Peaks, the different government departments devoted to Aboriginal affairs. And I don't oppose those bodies, by the way. I'm happy for them to be there. I just wish they could be a bit more efficient and targeted. But I'm not for abolishing them. I'm just not for having another additional body thrown into the mix. So focus on the essentials, those essentials that have allowed me to do well, that have allowed most other Australians to do well, that have allowed the architects of the voice to do well, education, employment, that sort of thing. If we focus on that, that's how we close the gap. And I believe that can be done now. And if we make this promise to Aboriginal people, the voices, that's what's missing. And if we get the voice, that will fix everything. I think that stifles motivation in the present, because you've got people thinking, well, we really can't get ahead. We can't advance until we have this thing called the voice. No, we've got to let the people know here and now we've got everything that is needed in order to close the gap. We've got it right now, and we should be focusing on those things. We should not become distracted with yet another magic bullet that is supposed to fix everything. We have it all now. We do not need this new thing called the voice.